just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, of course, here with Meelz. It is episode 152. We are now almost in, where are we in autumn? What is this, fall? What is this? I have no sense of time.
It's pretty... well, here's the thing. Here's what I want to ask you. And I know about last week we talked about the whole weather thing and stuff. Have you experienced the orange sky where you're at? Because it looks incredibly scary. It looks frightening.
Yeah, I am. It's been orange here and gray for about a week. I think this is the first time it's been normal in about a week and a half, but the actual air quality is still terrible, like quite terrible. I haven't been going out much. I think the only time that it's safe to go out is probably around 5-6 o'clock when everything is a little bit clearer in the air and it's a little bit cooler, but it has been cooling down a lot in California at night though.
What is this world that we're living in, bro? Like, what is this? Why are we experiencing this? What have we done in a past life? Was it voting for Trump? I think it was. I don't know. What have we done as a nation to deserve all this turmoil so concurrently?
It's a long time coming. It's a long time coming. Like this.
I think the Earth is rejecting us.
It's rejecting us. It's rejecting Trump. It's rejecting AEW. It's rejecting a lot of shit.
Wow,
that's going on. Hello.
See, this just reminds me of. We're living in like a Dragon Ball GTS universe where everything is like dark and dim and abysmal and like all this other stuff like that. But with that said, I mean, it is very freezing here in New York City. It's actually getting pretty cold. It was actually a high of 62 today. So we're in full swing fall. It is cold. So
I mean, New York deserves all the cold weather that they can get, and you guys deserve everything that's going on right now. I think we're a little bit less deserving,
Why? Wait, no, that's not right. But again, why are we talking about the weather?
We talked about it last week.
We have actual things to talk about. I don't like talking about the weather. Making it feels so impersonal. It feels like I don't know you. Like it feels like I'm stretching. This is the conversations that I would be having with people in my everyday life if I went out to work and talked to people that I didn't actually want to talk to on an everyday basis.
They'd be like, oh,
I mean, with that said,
how about that?
How about that? Oh, it's raining? Shoot, man. That rain will get you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like something stupid like that. Like it just is what it is. But first of all, I want to tell everyone, please follow the A Show Network, and everything that we've got coming up and everything that we got going on. You can follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or whatever they're transforming to. And yeah, keep following us, keep supporting us, keep liking, keep sharing, keep doing all that great stuff, because we want to continue to bring you amazing content. This week, of course, we have the A Show that we're here, actually coming at a special day. I think we're following AEW rules. Either hockey's on or NBA is on or something along those lines. But the Rewriters Room will be coming out this week. It's coming out this Thursday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So the day after you get the A Show, you'll get your Rewriters Room. So you'll be able to tune into that and then wait for that. I think we have something special coming this week, according to you.
Yes, we do have something special. Of course, as you guys already know, the G1 starts this weekend, and in typical A Show Network fashion, me and Cyrus will.
As if we already knew. Wait. I found out 5 minutes before we started this podcast that the G1 was starting this weekend. I knew that it existed and it was starting, but I just didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, it starts the 19th. What do you mean? We're here. We're back. It's a loaded lineup. Here's the thing: you never know anything about what's going on with New Japan until like the 4th of January. I love that Wrestle Kingdom's on a set day every single year, so their Meelz cannot forget.
And yet, I mean, it's the 4th, right? It's the 4th of January, right? Okay, all right. You know what? I only know that from doing this podcast and having to cover it at least 3 times over the last number of years. But yeah, G1's coming up. Okay, that sounds cool. Is it going to be whack?
You'll have to wait until Friday when me and Cyrus is. We're going to do a quick preview episode of the G show. As with always, we haven't determined which number of days that we'll wait before the show. I think for the past seasons of the G show, we've done a whole week and we just reviewed the best matches of the week. I think we should probably continue on with that just so that we don't get bogged down with the episode every single day because the G1 never ends. So we'll probably do that cadence, but we're definitely going to have a short, maybe 20-minute preview episode dropping this week on the A Show Network. And then we'll also have an episode of Spot Callers coming very soon. That's been long-awaited episode that was voted on by the fans. So stay tuned for that. Me and Cyrus are going to be working a lot this weekend.
Right. So boom. Yeah, you got plenty of A Show related content coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely.
So that's
before we start with No Holds Barred in the news, I want to give a shout out to @STK_64. He sent us a question last night that he wanted us to talk about. Can we talk about these two questions, Meelz?
Of course. He's first of all, love him. Always supported. Appreciate you highly, sir. So yeah, we can definitely answer his questions. I have no qualms in answering the questions.
All right, cool. So he asks, what do y'all think about the WWE doing a Queen of the Ring, and who do you think wins? Queen EST, lit to me. I'm guessing he means Bianca Belair will win that. It's got to be a heel, right?
All right. You go first because I have I'm doing #Meelz booking on this. I was prepared for this question.
Nia Jax is probably going to win this if they were to do it. They love giving her shit. They love giving her shit like this. I think Nia Jax would win.
She needs something.
Right.
She needs something. She needs like a history making kind of moment type of deal. I think all the ladies of the early women's revolution has done something. I mean, Carmella has been Miss Money in the Bank twice, and she won the first one. And, Becky Lynch, first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte, first ever Raw Women's Champion, et cetera, et cetera. All these first kind of things that have occurred. Why not Nia Jax? I mean, why the hell not? Let's make her look imposing for once. All right, so boom. I actually have a plan for this. No. You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this. I promise you. So, Queen of the Ring will take place at Survivor Series this year.
Okay.
3 brands. The Raw brand will have a tournament. The SmackDown brand will have a tournament. The NXT brand will have a tournament. And the winner will meet in a triple threat match at Survivor Series, representing all 3 brands. That's my pick for Queen of the Ring. That's my booking for Queen of the Ring, which I think should happen.
But who's going to win? Who's going to win?
Okay, so we're going to get down. I personally think it probably needs to be Bianca Belair. And obviously that's the obvious answer, but it's the fact that they haven't really done anything with her, but they kind of still, every time she's on screen, obviously she takes up a lot of attention, and I think they do see that, which is why they play her in the background so much, because remember when she was walking out with Ruby Riott?
Yeah.
That one week? And she just kind of like all of the energy, any energy that Ruby Riott got immediately got sucked into Bianca Belair's orbit of like amazing music, horns, superstar nature. I think that's why they kind of play in the background, because it obviously draws a lot of attention from other girls that they want to showcase at this particular time. I think this is a case where Bianca's not really doing anything substantial. Let's give it to Bianca. At least let her make the finals, but let's give it to her. Let's let her rock out. And then it sets up for something that could come later on down the line, whether it be a title match, in the future or a WrestleMania match or something along those lines. But at least it gets that train going.
Well, Bianca does have some, like, doesn't she have like the most eliminations or something in the Rumble, in women's Rumble history?
Yeah, but then Shayna Baszler came in and tied it.
Oh yeah.
She tied it in like 5 minutes flat. That was sad. It just was what it was. Remember Shayna? Remember Paul Heyman Shayna?
Paul Heyman Shayna, let me just go on record saying probably the worst booking anyone's ever done with her.
Not the worst. I would say the most predictable under Paul Heyman circumstances. But, I wouldn't say the worst. I would say this is how I would predict Paul Heyman would have booked her in any sort of situation. But, I mean, we've got some news this week surrounding, I guess, some Paul Heyman guys that aren't, I think they're feeling, if you look on the shows, you can kind of feel that they're not getting the Paul Heyman-esque treatment as of late on shows.
No, thank God. I think that, like, as much as we did, like, kind of enjoy the fact that Raw felt like a pay-per-view quality show every week, I do enjoy these Raws for going back to, like, having actual storylines that actually, like, kind of weave into each other. But then this Raw also got kind of fucked with that booking because you have storylines that have gone on for way too long. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on our Raw review. But
I think, you know what? We can definitely talk about it on the Raw review. There have been, all the reports have said there have been casualties with like Angel Garza and Andrade and Aleister Black and all this other stuff. We can talk about it on the Raw review, but I definitely do think that those three guys, if you look at the roster over the last 6 months, have been heavily edited because of a lack of a Paul Heyman's presence on Raw.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I'll say.
I'll agree. The second question that he had, who do you think is the first to make the jump from AEW to WWE? I mean, that's tough to say, right? Like, I would imagine it'd probably be a guy that was in the WWE already before.
Yeah, I think that would be the easiest thing. If I look at the AEW roster, which I've never gone to before, what is their website name? I'm sure it's not AEW.com because
I think it's Stormfront. I think it's Stormfront.
All Elite. Oh wow, you're an asshole.
I think it's 4chan.
AllEliteWrestling.com. No, All Elite Wrestling. If I had to look, okay, let's look. Let's go through their page and see. Is anyone being? God, look at all these white guys they have. Whoa, okay. I forgot a lot of people were on this roster. Damn, this pandemic is not shaping out very well for a lot of these guys. You know what I would say? If I had to pick who would leave, I would say, I kind of want to say. I don't think it's any of the top guys there. I don't think any of the top guys will leave.
No,
it's definitely not. It's definitely not. I could see Britt Baker leaving if like something happens and she's just like, oh, WWE's calling. My boyfriend's there and he's got some pull in NXT. I could see her leaving.
Yeah.
I could see Private Party, just because, like, not really doing anything. I think WWE would remix them crazy, though. Like, they would not look as ridiculous as they look here. Like, they would not.
Well, Private Party has too much swag for AEW in general. Like, I don't see how I watched an hour of it last week, and I don't see how you watch that and be like, yo, yeah, I'm proud. Watching that. Well, I'm proud of something. I'm proud of maybe like white power, but I'm not proud, watching this.
I can't see much of these guys moving from AEW to WWE, honestly. Not a lot of them fit the mold. Not a lot of them fit that I would think would end up like moderately successful, or do I feel like has like WWE like thing. I could see Scorpio Sky if he ever decided to move, but I do think they have big plans for Scorpio Sky and AEW.
Do they?
I do think they're. I definitely do. They sneakily protect him. They like sneakily put him in certain situations that he doesn't really need to be in, but he benefits from it. I think they have plans like in the future, like, oh, he could be, it would be one of those JR things, like, oh, he's a blue chip, a future AEW champion type of thing. Like, I could see that, but I don't see a lot of these guys moving. They look pretty. I can't see. Sure. Listen, Marco Stunt, Jurassic Express. I can't see a lot of these guys moving to WWE.
If I had to think, like, I think 10 guys going to go back. I think Sean Spears will go back.
Oh, Sean Spears? No. Sean Spears, did you see the report that he did, or the interview that he did, where he said, like, they offered him money? He was, like, bigging it up, like, oh, they offered me money to stay. They asked me to be a trainer. And I was just like, nah, I need to go somewhere where I'm going to be, you know, where I can really flesh out and get this career kickstarted. I'm like, bro, you're like 40-something. Like,
that's laughable.
Like,
that's laughable.
But you know what? It is what I will only personally say that about Sean Spears, because I do believe Sean Spears is a goof. Most of these people I have a moderate amount of respect for, but I do believe Sean Spears is a goof. The biggest one could be Adam Page, but I think Adam Page he would look so vanilla within NXT or WWE or anything of the sort.
I mean,
like, the gimmick just doesn't fit.
I would say that even I mean, Kenny Omega would probably look vanilla too, even though I think that he's just like a far and away choice that everyone thinks would leave. But like, I mean, we'll see what they do with his singles run now that he's finally going to get one. But you know, I'm not too confident that they're going to do right by him either. Honestly, I don't feel like they've done it right. I feel like you could spin that all you want, but they just haven't done right by him either, to be honest.
You feel like maybe he's like the outcast, like the ousted kind of executive. Feel like he doesn't get as much credit or success as the other. Because it's like, when I hear about AEW and things that they're doing, I hear a lot about like Jericho behind the scenes actually like calling the shots and like bringing people in and like helping people with their promos and all the other things I would assume I would expect Kenny Omega to be doing in his presence. But it seems like Jericho has a bigger presence in AEW than he does, quite honestly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of these guys that go to AEW from WWE and vice versa, they'll probably end up in the same spots that they were in their respective companies that there are right now. I think the only person that probably wouldn't was probably Omega. You know, like I think that, again, these are just lateral fucking moves for these guys. I don't think there's like, you know, a big difference in how they'll be booked. I mean, I can't think of anyone who'd be paradigm shifting, no pun intended, than like Mox or Omega. I think Cody would be slotted exactly how he was in WWE if he went back. I don't think they give two.
Yeah, Cody is no.
It just wouldn't.
There's no way.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. So like, if I was to think, it would be one of the lower card guys, and they'd probably have a good run.
Oh, you know,
on NXT.
Darby Allin. He doesn't get. I think he should be a bigger deal in AEW than he is. That's just my opinion. He's got an interesting look. I remember the first few weeks of the show, he kind of popped off screen, and they haven't really found a spot with him all after the fact. Maybe Dark. I know what you're thinking, but he does have like, he at least has like, you know how Shotzi has a tank and stuff like that. Like, he at least has a skateboard. He at least has an accessory. He has something that like, okay, we can market something with him. He got the little skull thing.
Imagine Bruce Pritchard trying to sell us on a skateboard gimmick.
Listen. He has a segment with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon decides, you can skateboard. Anybody can skateboard. Damn it! And he steps on the skateboard and busts his ass. I'm laughing, and that'll be the legend of Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin's cool. I think he would be a good fit for WWE if he ever showed up.
He's a nice
more than AEW, I would say, because.
He's a nice Jeff Hardy foil. He reminds me like that Jeff Hardy love that people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. In WWE, he would need to bulk up a little bit, but yeah, he would probably be best. Or say like 205 Live and really quick.
Oh, if he goes to 205 Live, then he's not going to WWE. He's got to be NXT or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be that way. But speaking of peeps, speaking of moves, last week I watched an hour of Dynamite. I got an inkling from an insider.
Good for you,
from an insider. Oh, hold on. There was no NXT, so I checked out an hour.
Well, yes, of course.
But Miro, aka the former Rusev, debuted on Dynamite, and it happened with a whimper. not a bang. Came out as Kip Sabian's best man.
I would say it was a little bit of a bang. People were like, "Oh,"
and then he spoke. And then
I
he
see
spoke.
where they go. Okay,
yeah.
All right, talk about it.
Yeah, and then he spoke. And we don't make up these memes for nothing. Like, people don't make up these memes and these like, it's true. Like, as soon as he showed up, it was WWE dissing. And that's where it was. And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, oh brother."
So
here we go. And to be fair, before you go, I think there are legitimate gripes that he might have. But I think it would have just been so cool if he just didn't do that. Because everyone else does it when they come. Like literally Moxley did it like 2 weeks ago at their pay-per-view at the end of the show at 12 a.m. Like, it's okay.
So here's what I'll say. Because I've looked up, he's done an interview since. It was not on Talk is Jericho. It was on Busted Open Radio. So he did an interview since. He definitely talked about the comment. He said, like, he wasn't at first sure if he wanted to actually say it, because he wanted to be like, okay, we're starting in fresh a little bit. The best man. I do think the best man is an interesting way to bring him in, especially since it's like a double thing. But, I love Miro. I love Rusev. Like, it just is what it is. But it's kind of like a double sort of thing. But we'll see how his career actually turns out. He does have a gripe. He just wanted to say, he said, at the end of the day, it was pretty much like, okay, I had a bunch of frustration regarding a lot of things surrounding the end of my WWE run with, things like Vince McMahon saying like, oh, they don't really chant Rusev Day because they like you. They chant Rusev Day because it's like ironic. Like, it's fun. It's fun to chant. And him being frustrated at that. A lot of different things, how things ended up with his wife, how he kind of tailed out, et cetera, et cetera. He said he wasn't sure if he wanted to say it, but it was actually Chris Jericho who was the one who was like, nah, man, put it in. Like, at the end of the day, it's like business. It's like, it's whatever. You can put it in and say it. And he says from this point on, he's not really going to spend much time afterwards kind of talking about everything in the past. He kind of just wants to move on to the future. This is what I got from Miro himself. So
that's cool. I mean, he came out looking like a Twitch streamer. So,
yeah, he looked terrible.
He looks terrible. He looks real bad.
The blonde hair, I'm not mad at. Everything else, I was mad at.
Yeah, the Gucci fit. I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but you look like a jackass. Like
the Yeezys.
People, the Yeezys. You already know how I feel if you got Yeezys on. That shit. It's so easy to just put on Yeezys and say you're fresh. That doesn't make you fresh, my guy. It's too easy.
I like this.
It's too easy. It's way too easy, right? This. Like, it's too easy for you to say, "Oh, I got Yeezys on. I'm fresh," or "I got," like, no, you're not fresh if you got Yeezys on. Like, the whole outfit got to match. Like, that's the issue. Like,
this is what. Oh my God, this is such a bar. All right, go ahead,
like,
man.
It's too easy. The Yeezys, you can find them on the shelf right now. Like, they don't sell out like that. Like, these aren't exclusive sneakers like that. Like, go. I would have been impressed if he had some Union 4s on. If he got them from you know what I'm saying, from the plug. I would have been impressed if he had the off-white 4s on.
Listen, get your man Wale. Introduce him to Miro. Tell him hook him up. Tell him hook him up crazy, and let's get it popping. Let's get some Miro 4s.
I know
somehow.
That. Listen, they can all be dressed way better than they dressed on that show. I think that was my biggest issue. Like, I'm not saying that I almost said the N word. I'm not saying everybody on the E dress tight, but at least the Hurt Business, you know what I'm saying? They looking like some money. You know what I mean? Like,
they look like they getting paid.
You feel me? Like, Cedric Alexander went from looking like he was working as he looked like a mechanic, and now he looked like he's, you know what I'm saying, bottle service everywhere he go, bottle service. I'm just saying, it's too easy.
Oh my God, you have FTR coming out in non-tailored suits, looking wild.
Hey,
80s. You have Eddie Kingston looking crazy.
We tapping in the War Report era, right? Cyrus is gonna kill us. We're really tapping in.
Never mind.
We gotta get through with no holds barred. We're just gonna do some quick hits. Gerald Briscoe. Last week, Gerald Briscoe was let go. He was part of the furloughed people that were let go early in the COVID era here, and he tweeted that he was let go. Vince McMahon called him and said he was no longer needed, and he said, "You know what, guys? Stop with all of the BS. I'm not mad. I'm fine. I'm still gonna help out the future." What did you feel about his comments after that? What did you feel about the firing? I thought it was a huge loss to me to lose Gerald. I didn't even know he was employed. So when I found out, I was like, wow, that sucks. But huge loss. But also, I thought it was really enlightening for him to say, you know what, like, I had my time here. I'm not mad and I'm not bitter.
What is so crazy? This was like, I had discovered, I was like, Gerald Briscoe has a Twitter? What the hell? I was so out of it. Nah, it's definitely a big loss. I think it's a loss regarding, but I do think it's time to move on. He was employed since 1984. It's 2020. He's been getting a check for the better part of 40 years. And while we don't like to see anyone starving, I would hope at this point, from getting consistently stuff, his son is doing amazing things, that he's really obtained this type of fulfillment that he's like, okay, I can move on to the next thing. Now, I will say, listen, if he's walking the mirror out to the ring next week, I don't know what the hell's going on. Because AEW, they love to get the senior citizens in on the fun as well.
That's what I can't rock with. I can't rock with that neither. On that show, like, who is this old nigga, man? Like, what's tough?
And why is he like doing multiple people? Like,
yeah, like what? Why I gotta walk with this old man? Like, why Taz gotta walk me out? I know about Taz. He got.
That is so weird. That Taz is a commentator, but also he manages the FTW champion, which is not a real champion, Brian Cage, and like various others. But he's also on commentary, so it's like I'm like, huh? Is he biased? Not biased? We just have to sit through this.
I'm done talking about these people. One last thing before we go to this next bit of news. One of my friends said, we're gonna pull up to the AEW show. We're going to pull it to Daly's place. I got a couple connections there. And I said, you know what? He said, you know what? My fiance would never, ever let me attend the Klan rally. Next up on the slate, Sasha Banks is going to be on The Mandalorian Season 2. The trailer just came out today. I don't know how, on wildly... like crazy things going on both sides here. On one side, everyone loves this. I saw the trailer. I wasn't a huge fan of season 1, but I saw the trailer and I was like, you could barely. It was a blink and you miss it cameo in that trailer. People have taken this one image of her. Have you seen them superimpose it and put it in HD and everything? It's like I saw a 4K screenshot of this like 2 second, 1 second scene.
That wasn't a real photo.
No. Someone took the 4K trailer and took her part out and super HD'd it. Like, that's how crazy it's gotten. But then on like the other end, I've seen, and of course, me and Meelz, congratulations, Sasha. We heard about this casting, like a couple months ago, and now it's
good. I mean, is it a Sasha Banks check or is it a Mercedes check? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it a WWE check or is it a not WWE check? Like, how are we figuring this in? Is it like Scorpion King, or the Mummy Part 2, or whatever the hell it is, type of cameo thing, or are we like doing actual big things on the show? Because I think this, if I had to give my opinion, this is probably the most high profile feature that a WWE superstar has been in quite some time, excluding John Cena.
Nah, Batista was just an Endgame a year ago.
All right, yeah. You're right, but Batista doesn't count. Batista's not really he's not an active competitor. They're not active competitors.
Cena is in the Suicide Squad.
I would say Cena, but I said except Cena and Batista. Batista hasn't eaten a WWE check for the better part of like the last decade, and John Cena is on his way to that fact.
Cena
I'm talking about current
WrestleMania.
I'm saying a good WWE check for the better part of the last decade. That means consistently for the better part. I mean,
That's
I said consistently John Cena is on his way there. That means John Cena.
A weird qualifier.
I'm just saying. He's not an active. I'm saying Sasha Banks is an active competitor.
Did you just say that?
John Cena, Batista aren't currently, but that's what I was trying to say. Like, that's what I meant about the check thing. Like, you know, I was just trying to be witty with it. But you know what? Never mind.
She's labeled under
Sasha Banks. I'm happy for you.
She's labeled under her real name.
Okay.
In the casting.
I hope the checks come. I hope the checks come to your address. That's all I can say. I really do.
They all do.
I think it's
they all do.
Listen, WWE sometimes mail the checks, and you're like, yo, what happened here? Oh my god! How are you doing today, sir?
Did you see the guy saying that that the fact that she wasn't trending proves that WWE isn't popular and nobody under 35s or something watches it?
I did see that. I thought it was, first of all, like you said, it's a 1 second cameo. And obviously only WWE fans are going to go up for it. I don't think Sasha Banks, if you're asking me if Sasha Banks is heavily known outside of WWE, I think she's known in some circles. I think if people see her face, they'd be like, oh, I remember that girl. She's a wrestler. But I don't think Sasha Banks' name rings bells in the industry. No. I think people would be surprised, like, oh, that's Snoop's cousin? Oh, shit, she was on Ridiculousness? Oh, she was on Hot Ones? I mean, she's done a lot of things. But if you're asking me if her name rings bells in like the actual industry, no, it doesn't. But at the same time, it's like she's a big deal, especially in the WWE, especially WWE's massive audience. Yeah, I don't get what's the.
I thought that it was just like, well, yeah, she's doing this to become more ubiquitous and well known. Like, what's the point of even saying it? Just say congratulations and keep going. Like, it's just like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like a weird thing to say. Well, turning it into, once again, a WWE thing. It's not Sasha Banks acting. It's her real name on this on this role. Like, it has nothing to do with the company at all. Like, just relax. Like, no one is like, there's no Stone Cold, there's no Rock, there's no Hogan anymore. Like, it has nothing to do. Like, we're not living in the 90s anymore. Wrestling we're in a bubble. Largely in a bubble. Like, what the hell? Like, you think fucking Miro was on that? He would be trending right now? Like, fuck no. Come on.
Yo, Cody Rhodes, these are like, oh, we got a special announcement at the end of AEW episode. So, you know, after Brody Lee finishes beating up a very old man, they cut to this and they start like, oh, it's the TBS. They're having their like America's Got Talent at show, and I guess Cody's a host. So I'm like, but I don't think he was trending for that. Like, he was on a host with, I think it's Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland, Snoop Dogg, and Rosario Dawson. And he's like a host with one of those guys. And I'm like, yeah, but he wasn't trending off of that. Like, let's stop playing around. Sasha Banks, you're a wrestling fan. You know who Sasha Banks is. You know that this is a big deal because you know what The Mandalorian is. So stop playing like you don't actually know. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a big deal. And it's the first thing. We're getting started here.
She wouldn't be on it if she wasn't a big deal, but I guess people don't know how things work. So yeah, that's the news for the week. I think we did our 30 on the news. Let's take a quick break, and afterwards we're going to talk about Smackdown and Raw for the week. We have a couple of Clash of Champions things that have happened. We had a Bayley promo. We got a lot to talk about. So we'll be right back on the A Show.
You hear this lovely lullaby you hearing right now. You know what I'm saying? The most iconic, greatest voices of all time with the Black Variant podcast. You already know it's the Exile X. You know what I'm saying? The guy Van Red, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to give you nothing but the latest and greatest in comic news, Star Wars news, all the good stuff. Man, tell these people.
Yo, man, we got everything you need over here at the Black Variant, man. We got superhero talk. We got to talk about Sasha Banks being part of the Star Wars universe, man. We get everything
baby.
else. Yeah, boss time. Yeah, let them know, X. What else?
Yo, listen, Sasha Banks got that Mando joint, dog. Yo, hold on. We got the Mandalorian. Yo, we got the Batman. Yo,
man.
We going different. Go ahead and y'all should be watching us on Friday, man. So we're getting real disrespectful with the Big Eyes podcast. Come check us out, RNC. You know.
And we are back on the A Show with Meelz and Justin. We just talked about No Holds Barred. Now it is time to get into our shows for the week. That was my dog shaking just now. Roman, of course, has joined the show.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, what is going on there? Roman's trying to get in.
Yeah, he's here. He has arrived. He wants to hear about Smackdown and Raw for the week.
All right, so how do we want to do this? Do you want to take SmackDown? Should I take SmackDown? Like, how do you want to? Do you want to comment on SmackDown this week? Do I want to comment on Raw this week?
I'll take SmackDown. I'll take SmackDown this week because I think I enjoyed SmackDown. Is that weird?
Obviously the A Show? Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
wow. So we're going back to this. We're going back to this now. That's crazy.
Well, listen. Big things going on SmackDown.
Big things on. Big things are going on SmackDown. So SmackDown happened last Friday. I would say not too many big revelations, but we do get a new championship challenger, and we get more in the Roman Reigns storyline with Jey Uso. Let's talk about that first. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso again. You're starting to see seeds of a more sinister and calculated Roman Reigns here. I love how subdued they're having him be. He's just chilling out with Jey. Jey still thinks everything is good, but us as the audience, we know that everything is not good. But I love the setup for this. We did the SmackDown, or we got the SmackDown Classic, which is they will literally have a feud going on that's going on for months, and then make it take a break for a week. So we had Sheamus and Baron Corbin. Of course, Big E is off the show for a kayfabe injury, and Matt Riddle was hanging out with the Street Profits. So they had nothing to do that night. So Sheamus and Baron Corbin faced Roman Reigns and Jey Uso in a tag match at the end of the night. Of course, Roman Reigns did his thing where he did not come out until the final moments of the match, which helped him score the win, stealing it from Jey with the spear to win the match. And how did you feel about this whole night-long storyline between Jey, Roman, and Paul Heyman?
So I think it's actually really, really good, and I think it's. I was under the fact, okay, either this could happen because Jey Uso is such a non-contender in so many different ways, or it could actually happen, and here's why it would actually happen. But I'm glad to see that it's happening. I'm glad to see that they're spending time, I guess, pushing Jey Uso to an extent. He's got monumental wins back-to-back week, especially over Sheamus and Baron Corbin-esque type characters. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns kind of playing the cool, the background, the subdued, he seems bigger. He knows how much of a bigger value he is than Jey Uso. And he's just kind of playing that role to a T. Absolutely love it. We were talking about it on Twitter. Twitter was kind of booming for SmackDown last week because SmackDown is actually a much more interesting show than Raw is. But it was like, yo, he's kind of like Lesnar, but he's like less work in the things that he does, but like more swag. Like it's a bit of it's a take on the Lesnar type of thing. But it feels like he's carrying himself with a much different energy.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar carries himself with a. It's like a weight, but it's like a dangerous weight to him. Like at any time he could snap and break you in half. Whereas Roman Reigns kind of carries himself like, yo, big dog, the chief, as you would say. But you notice that
Heyman is even afraid of Roman in a weird way that not even he was afraid of Brock. Like with Brock, you always kind of felt like Heyman kind of had Brock under control. With Roman, this looks like a bit of a loose cannon that we're waiting to see explode.
Well, I think it's to the fact that Heyman and Brock were friends, and and Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, they kind of doing business with each other is how I perceive how they explain this entire ordeal. But yeah, you could definitely see that. At any point, Roman Reigns could be like, nah, chill, we're out of here. But I love how we're getting deeper and deeper into this thing. My favorite part, which will likely be the artwork to the show. Roman Reigns, end of Smackdown, getting his hand lifted by Jey Uso and looking over to this man like,
are you touching me?
Don't you? What? Why are you touching me? Why are you touching me? Like, it was just a great moment, and it's something that you don't even have to say. You don't have to comment on it. Like, look at he's looking at Jey. You don't have to do none of that. You get the look and you understand exactly what it is, and this is the storytelling that they play. This is a great storytelling program. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think they're doing a really good job. I think this will, of course, all culminate at Clash of Champions in 2 weeks, but I'm really excited to see where they go with this. Speaking of champions, Bayley was on the show and had her long-awaited Why Bayley Why promo. We do know now that Sasha Banks will be returning next week. I'm not shocked at all. I get it. I mean, they got to do it. She can't be on TV that damn long. People were saying she need to be on TV until Royal Rumble, and I was like, you sure on SmackDown they can do that? I don't think they can. I've seen the roster.
No, they ain't got that. Yeah, they ain't got that much time. Look at it. We're getting Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Again.
Yeah.
Again. This is like the fourth time, and like over the summer. Like, it was a summer program, and now it's evolved into the fall. So, yeah, obviously SmackDown is strapped for women. At least, I won't say strapped for women because they definitely do have quite a bit of women, but Bayley's beating them all. So, you'll see it here. She explained the attack on Sasha Banks. I personally didn't like the promo.
What's that? Why didn't you like the promo?
I thought they could have.
She I don't know. For those who didn't see the promo, she basically said that she went to pretty much an explanation that said that she knew that Sasha was using her from the beginning. Sasha's always been behind her, trying to take her shine and trying to take her spot, and she became hip to it, and that's why she did what she did. I wouldn't call Sasha returning a face turn. I don't think that just because, I think Lance Storm said it best, just because a heel beat up a heel doesn't mean that a heel who got beat up is not face. This is definitely still a heel versus heel program, but I think that, again, I want to see Sasha's side, and I think that's the only way that this works is if Sasha gets her side. Mm-hmm. And I think I get what you're saying. Bayley's side alone does not make this work.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I thought just generally in the way it was kind of like, I don't know if this is exactly written for her or she decided I don't know if she's going off the top or whatever. But I just thought it was kind of like, for as much, and we talked about this a couple months ago, for as much as this has been going on, it seemed like very surface level. You know what I'm saying? Like surface level. Like there's nothing really deep. I can't see this program going as long as it probably should go, because it kind of seems like, and you were jealous of me, which is the standard trope for most women feuds in WWE, of like jealousy, and that was kind of it. But there should be so much more deep within it. Like there's so many moments, so many things, so much insecurities. Bayley's entire heel turn was inspired by Sasha Banks. Mm-hmm. And everything that's kind of her bringing up to the main roster was inspired by Sasha Banks. All these different things, and et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was just kind of like very like surface level kind of like writing. Maybe, I don't know. It's very rare that I critique the actual writing on SmackDown, because wrestling is wrestling. But for as long as this feud has gone, and how much they like cross paths and stuff like that, it just seems kind of like, okay, we just doing the normal thing. Yeah. Like we did all this for that. And that's how it kind of felt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this led to a women's #1 contender match between Nikki Cross, Tamina, Lacey, what's her name? Lacey Evans? and who was the last person? Oh, Alexa Bliss, who is now doing Bray Wyatt-esque stuff. I'm waiting to see the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here. Bray Wyatt was on the show, of course, but did not mention Alexa at all. So is she just kind of like I don't know, she a Bray groupie? I've never seen one of those.
little bit.
She heard about them ponies. She said, "I need one." You feel me?
She heard about them ponies. Listen, you took the words right out of my mouth. She heard about them ponies. She's like, ponies. Wait a minute now. Let me dirty dread my hair a little bit. I hope that's not real dreads in her hair.
I think it's a weave. I don't think it's real.
Okay. Because braids, all right, let me ask you this about braids dreads, since you're a dread connoisseur.
Oh God!
What would you rate his dreads? How do you rate his hair?
I don't like white man dreads. I just don't like white man dreads. Period. So that's automatic. It's an automatic.
They're not meant for you guys.
They also look really dirty and matted. I think they look way more dirty than actual like melanin dreads. Like I think that when you have that process, I think a big part of that process is seeing your hair transform. And this is no surprise to anybody. No disrespect to, or maybe all disrespect to any white people that listen. But it's like, it's just that process is way different for you guys. You have to do a lot. You have to put a lot of like, stuff in your hair for that to happen. For us, we just literally have to watch it grow. Like it's a plant. I started this journey like almost 4 years ago, and it's something that took a really long time to do. So like when I see Bray Wyatt's dyed hair, it's falling off of his scalp. It looks like it does need to be cut. It does not look healthy at all. I definitely judge it. It looks as though he even cut it from where it was when the Fiend first debuted. So he had to actually cut it because his roots may be dying, and a lot of the hair may just be dried out and just finished. So I'm not a big fan of his white man dreads at all. He should have just put a weave on like Kane.
I mean, we'll get there. That was
information that no one was listening to the show ever expected to hear at all.
But I know you, and I know how you feel about hair.
I know. I see Lil Wayne's hair, and I just feel for him. I hate it. I hate every moment of it. But Nikki Cross won the match. We are, as Meelz said, getting Nikki Cross and Bayley again at Clash of Champions. This is going to be really controversial, but I think you kind of got to give the belt to Nikki at this point.
If you're giving her a fifth title match,
you better be giving her the title. You better be giving her the title.
Yeah. It's ridiculous at this point. She doesn't actually. She's won this match, but it feels like at the same time she doesn't really deserve it because she's lost so many times in a row, and she's unraveled because of the loss at one point. Now it seems like she's a little bit more put back together, but she's unraveled to this point. Let me ask you a question. Championship-wise, you're saying you should give it to Nikki Cross. Are you trading championships between these feuds that are somewhat similar in an instant, but quite different? Would you decide which do you think needs a title more? I mean, to me, it's obvious. I think the Bayley feud needs a title more, but Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss. How many times you're going to have Nikki Cross actually lose?
Exactly. They've booked themselves into a corner, and I think largely to the benefit of Bayley, making her look strong, but also to the detriment of the rest of the women in the division. And now you have Alexa in this kind of weird heel turn that she's doing, which is kind of like, I'm not sure where she's going with that, but I mean, this all really started after Nikki lost the title the last time and she pushed Alexa down. So it does make sense for it to be the focal point of this feud. With Bayley and Sasha, they would have to do a hell of a personal angle to make this not about the belt, right? So they have to do something that's outside of the belt for it to not be about it anymore. I think that if it was not for the belt, that the Sasha and Bayley fans would be very upset at that outcome. I think they would be very disappointed at that, even though you could definitely still go back to it. I mean, we've seen it with Charlotte before, like she's lost it and then got it back for a big program. You could definitely do it, but I think as far as like Nikki Cross having the belt, I just don't understand what the point of the match is if you're not going to have her win the belt at this point. Like, why should I care about it for the fourth time? And it's not saying that they have bad matches. They have good matches. But we've seen it 4 times already, and we've seen it in tag matches. We've seen it in 5-pack challenges at WrestleMania. We've just seen it so many times. I just don't know what they're thinking here. So unless this is in service of our larger story, give Nikki the damn belt, and because at this point it's like what else could happen? Meelz, Alexa cost her the title. Then she's still a loser.
Yeah, but at the same time, Sasha could cost Bayley the title. So it's like, what are we choosing? What are we really choosing at the end of the day? I think they're gonna get to Clash of Champions and realize, Maybe we kind of messed this shit up.
Yeah, I hope not. What else happened on this episode of SmackDown? Not a lot. I think those are like the two biggest things to me. There was, of course, a weird Street Profits.
Listen,
there was a weird Street Profits segment that I thought was like not the best way to build that match on Monday, which I really did like, but it was fine, I guess.
I have thoughts about that match. I'll only have one thought about that match, but we'll get to it when we talk about it on Monday. But yeah, it was weird. We're continuing the story of Miz and Morrison trying to steal the Money in the Bank title thing.
Yes, there was
which led to
there's a weird contract thing, right? There's the contract where Otis is basically like, just because you got the briefcase doesn't mean the contract is yours.
Right. Well, he keeps hiding the contract in a very Looney Tune-esque type of ordeal. But the Miz is like, once I get the contract itself, I can get my lawyers to do loopholes and all this other stuff, Miz stuff, with the contract, and they will then be the Money in the Bank holders, or Miz or Morrison or something along those lines. So it's a feud. It's a choice.
I do not
want. It's a choice.
Do not fucking want. At all. I don't want it. I think that with Otis, it might have been cool back in July. We all had a laugh about it. I'm not laughing no more. I don't think Meelz is laughing no more.
I was laughing. No. I was laughing incredibly hard on Saturday morning when they do their delayed talking smack, which I was like, why is this even a thing? It was like, oh, well, every market doesn't get it at the same time. Who cares? Just don't watch it until you get it. I don't know why they have to air talking smack at 10 a.m. in the morning.
What did you just get an explanation?
No, that was dumb, though. It's like, it's on demand. Just watch it when you're ready. Just air it live and watch it when you're ready. No one's watching the network 24/7. I don't know if I'm actually about to run into talking smack spoilers. No, like, watch it when you're ready. But the Miz announced on Talking Smack, this is how I know we're getting really truly the fall of Otis here. That it's beginning to crumble. It's about to crash, and it's about to hurt inside, and all the other racist music shit.
Wow.
But we are getting the Miz gets Mandy Rose moved to Monday Night Raw. He calls some people. He calls either USA execs because he's good with them. He calls Fox execs because he's good with them, and then says, listen, I've managed to get Mandy Rose moved to Monday Night Raw. And it legit looks like that was the first time Mandy heard it. I mean, I don't know. She could have been working on Twitter, but it kind of felt like
she knew.
Okay. But yeah, she's moved. So what does it mean for this entire 11-month program that we've had with Otis and Mandy, now that Mandy Rose in service? I mean, to me now it kind of clearly opens, like, I guess the bigger program was Mandy versus Sonya at the end of the day, and Otis was just kind of along for the ride. But Mandy Rose now moved to Monday Night Raw. What does that kind of mean for Otis in the future? Do you think the walls are closing in?
I not so much the walls are closing in, but they're trying to find a clean way to break apart from this briefcase. I don't know if giving it to Miz or Morrison is the best idea, so I honestly think that there's going to be a third party that's going to jump in and take over for that. I honestly don't know. Again, they've booked themselves into so many corners on both shows, Meelz. Like, Raw with the Rey Mysterio, Kevin Owens, Alistair, all that shit going on. They booked themselves into a corner with that. And now here with Otis, it's like, there's no way we're going to take any type of cash in seriously with Otis, with Roman doing his gimmick of him just not even showing up until the end. So there's not going to be a shocking Otis appearance. Roman's not going to look weak in the next couple of months. I just don't see, like it doesn't seem like Otis to, cash. Well, it doesn't seem like him to cash in and announce it before. We've had so few cash-ins that are announced before that I think that would be a novel idea. Mm-hmm. I think we've only had about 3, but again, like, this seems to be a clean break and a way to get Mandy off of the show, but you have a draft coming up. That's why it's so weird that so many people are showing up on different shows. It's just like, I know it's football season, but it's still kind of odd that this is happening. So I just don't know what the clean break is. I know it's gonna. There's a 75% chance it's gonna suck. So let's just be ready for that episode that we called it, that it's gonna suck.
Yeah. Well, I've been calling it for months, so I'll say that.
It's not funny no more. We done. I don't want to do it. One more thing on SmackDown: the Intercontinental title race between AJ, Sami Zayn, and Jeff Hardy. Jeff, what is this dehydration thing with Jeff?
They making up some different shit for this guy.
Who
they making up some weird stuff. Who knows, man?
It was weird. It was a weird thing to have him dehydrated in the first place because it didn't make sense as to why that had to be said before the brawl with Sammy. Just make the damn match a triple threat at Clash of Champions. We know that's what's going to happen here. Give the title back to Sammy. And then just let AJ spin off into something. Like, here's the thing with AJ. I don't know what the hell he's going to do if he don't got the WWE title. And it just doesn't seem like Roman's going to be the guy for him.
No, it doesn't seem like it at all.
Like, he has to have the IC title.
Yeah, he kind of, I mean, I don't know about this feud anymore, man. It's this is so like GM mode, like in my opinion.
Well, I like Sammy, but I don't like. I don't know I don't know these three.
We both agree we don't want it on Jeff Hardy. Let's both agree.
Yeah. I agree with that. But I also feel like the Jeff Hardy thing was done because AJ got COVID, and that's why he lost the title.
And then he bounced back. He didn't miss a beat, didn't he? Like, people are getting COVID and they missed like 2 sets of tapings, 3 sets of tapings. Ben was like right on schedule. He was like, oh, got it. Oh,
he prayed to Jesus.
We back.
He prayed to Jesus. He prayed to flat Earth Jesus, and then he was fine. Yeah, I don't know.
Virginity rocks.
I don't know, man. I would say that Sammy will be lost if he did lose that IC title. I think there's a lot of ways you can go with Sammy. I mean, take Drew Gulak from 205 Live Commentary and put him right there. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's a lot of people on that show that could benefit from a feud with Sammy or AJ or Jeff Hardy. Like, it makes no sense to just hold him in this holding pattern. There was no Big E tonight or on Friday night. There was no Matt Riddle. I would assume that in typical SmackDown fashion, they will reappear this week in different segments because they take breaks every so often. So we'll see. I don't know. But I thought SmackDown was a pretty enjoyable show. I liked it. I think Roman is definitely carrying the show and giving it a new swagger that it didn't have in the past 6 months.
I think we need to have AJ Styles Twitch be a recurring segment on SmackDown, and he only addresses things via Twitch, because the things that he's saying on his Twitch is just some different shit. Like, he really feels like he talks about COVID on his Twitch. Apparently he had this quote. He was like, AJ's kid also admits to using shower. Well, he's like, do you pee when you when you take a shower? And his son says, who doesn't? And I was like, okay, all right. AJ Styles Twitch, everyone. So I feel like we should make that his gimmick. Twitch guy. Angry Twitch dad.
They should have had Joseph Park. I don't know why they got rid of him. I'm not complaining about more Adam Peters.
No, he was on Talking Smack. He was on Talking Smack this week.
Oh, okay. I didn't see Talking Smack this week. Was he with AJ?
Yeah, he was with AJ.
Okay, that's
he
awesome.
was with AJ. I think it was kind of. What did they do? I don't remember. It's funny. I don't remember. It's no offense to Xavier Woods, but The Miz is by far the superior.
Oh God, here we go. Now you're anti-black for the culture. Anti-black, anti-black.
Oh no,
my race is not a gimmick. My race is not a gimmick.
Let's move to Monday Night Raw.
Let's go.
Monday Night Raw, actually Monday Night Raw in your face, or in your face Monday Night Raw. How the hell they are branding this show? First night of Monday Night Football, we're back. Raw decides it was going to be a stack show, or they said it was going to be a stack show. I didn't feel the stackness of the show, and I think that's purely kind of the way about how things were kind of shifted around. It was weird kind of having the cage match be in like the second hour, and like Asuka versus Mickie being in the first hour, and then like closing with the thing that didn't really have a finish. Like it was. I think they could have done a lot more with reorganizing the show, especially considering Monday Night Football. But it wasn't a bad show. By all means, it just wasn't. It wasn't a bad show. I just think it was just kind of weirdly put together. Let's start out how they kicked off Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about this Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre program you've actually summoned into actually happening.
Yeah. You feel me?
I'm gonna give you credit for that. I
told you
because you said it would happen.
It's what it looked like. It's just what it looked like to me. It just seemed as though Keith Lee saying that on Talking Smack was not a coincidence to me. I think I said that at the time. They're pushing this guy, man. I don't know really much else what people can say. Like, fuck the gear, fuck the music. The guy's getting a push, irregardless of any of that. So, I mean, it's happening.
Yeah.
I think he looked incredibly cool to me that on Raw. He got under Drew's skin.
You know who didn't look cool on Monday Night Raw? Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he looked like a hoe.
beating up a guy in a Black Lives Matter hoodie. Monday Night Raw.
But more than that saying, "Don't touch me. I told you not to touch me." And I was just like, hold on, where are we going here, Daddy? Where are we going here?
And then, listen, the fight comes. They do the first kickoff thing in the fight. I think Keith takes down Drew by his legs and then just starts like weirdly. It was like Rob said, Ugly New York, shout out to Rob, said it was something like he was punching him in a dream kind of deal, because those punches were incredibly like, I was like, bruh, nah, this is a terrible pull apart
it got better.
Fight backstage.
It got better when they got off the ground.
It got better. It wasn't as bad as the Angel Garza Angel Garza and Andrade fight backstage, which no one came to break up.
They were slanging.
No one cared.
I felt them hits though. They were slanging. They were slanging back there, boy.
Listen. Andrade with all his cleavage out, trying to scrap with another man. I don't know what to say, but you know what? We're getting some things spin off from it. Let's talk about Street Profits versus Cesaro and Nakamura, champion versus champion.
We didn't talk about Drew and Keith, the match. We didn't talk about the match.
Oh, all right.
I thought it.
I was going to get to it.
It was missing. Well, I mean, I thought we were just going to do the whole thing, but I thought the match was.
It was missing an ending.
It was missing an ending. It was missing a gear. I know they're going to turn up. I think people shouldn't probably like hold too much against that match. They're going to turn up. They just had to. They had to get through this. You're going to get the Keith Lee turn up doing backflips and moonsaults match. I foresee it coming very soon. And I think that people are going to be hyped when it does happen, because we haven't seen him turn up like in months.
It was a good match. I think they've done a really good job booking this Drew McIntyre run. Just not even from championship matches, but just like having him face these guys and just different set of guys. Remember those sets of weeks he was fighting Andrade and all this other stuff. It's like truly establishing a champion, whereas I believe other champions just kind of like exist on Raw and have tag matches and lose non-title matches, but he's really been like a true champion caliber-esque superstar. And this match against Keith Lee, I thought it was great. I thought obviously it was missing an ending. They decided to go press the retribution button here, which I think we called for the finish of the SummerSlam match.
Yeah, SummerSlam match, yep.
With Randy, we called that for that. Didn't happen, but it happened this. I'm done with Retribution. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Reveal him or don't.
Before we get to Retribution, I think, you know who they booked Keith like? Not Keith, you know who they booked Drew like? Kofi.
Who?
Kofi.
I don't know about that.
They just gave Drew better opponents, but Kofi never lost. He never lost like tag matches and shit. That's true. He just would get beat up like Drew does, and then he would have a match. Like he has better opponents, but they're largely booked the same. They just have better opponents. Drew did also have Dolph Ziggler and had a better match. Just saying, Retribution. Shit. Wow. Shit or get off the pot with these guys. I think it's clear that it's Dijak. Dijak has a mask that so awkwardly covers up his nose so that we can not immediately notice him from his fucking nose. We also have Mercedes.
It was revealed on the dirt sheets of who they are. Yeah, it was revealed.
Yeah, Mercedes, Mia, Dijak, of course, Dio Madden. Shane Thorne, and then I guess a bunch of other PC heads. But I think that those are the 5 going forward that are going to be the figureheads of Retribution. How are they going to explain Dio Madden getting booted off the announce table desk?
How are they going to? I mean, they can explain that. I mean, no one cared.
You kicked me off for you kicked me off for a pedophile. What is he going to say that?
Wow.
No,
he should. I'm wondering how they even bother to explain this period. I mean, these 5 people have never really worked together at any point, so why they're actually coming together for this cause when it doesn't even seem like they've been unjustly outed for any particular reason. Like, it just seems like, I was like, why are they doing all these things? Why are they creating so many enemies? Not fully sure. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm done with Retribution. I'm done with them.
My question is, where the hell do they go? Like, where do they go after this is all over on a stacked ass roster on Raw? So that means you have 5 call-ups coming to Raw, essentially, right? Like, there's 5, straight up 5 people coming to Raw. 2 women, 3 dudes.
NXT can't take these 5 people. I guess Dio Madden died of COVID.
NXT is like, we don't keep them over there. Dijak is supposed to leave a long time ago. Mia, I get it. Mia's been there for 2 years, and Keith is on the main roster. I get it. They're going to move up together. Mercedes, I'm actually shocked about because last week after the cage match, it was a write-off. And that was the write-off for Mercedes. She leaves, she quits Robert Stone brand, and that's it for her.
Right.
So I'm shocked that that's crazy. I'm shocked that they're calling her up. I thought that she was gonna pretty much just stay on NXT, but it looks like that's not going to be the case here. But I don't know where they go after this. But Raw does need a veteran presence like Mercedes Martinez that does wrestle in a more imposing fashion. But you also have a Shayna Baszler. So how do you change between the two? But let me tell you one thing. I want to see that match.
I think you can keep them separate apart. Let's continue to run through Raw because we're running a bit long here on the actual show itself. Yeah. Because a lot of things happened. Let's see, Street Profits versus Cesaro and Nakamura. Champions versus Champions match.
I know you didn't like it.
I liked the match.
Oh, I thought you didn't like it.
I think Cesaro and Nakamura... No, I like the match. I just think Cesaro and Nakamura should have won.
I agree, because if they're going to do a champion versus champion match, because it doesn't seem like there's any contenders on either show right now, but if they're going to do a contender versus contender match, you have to give the Profits a reason to want that match, and they've already beaten them. And I thought Cesaro...
make Cesaro and Nakamura look like schlubs, you know what I'm saying?
And they look like schlubs the whole week. I mean, they lost at Lucha House Party on Friday off of a distraction, and they couldn't beat the Profits. And I just thought that it looked really weird. But I mean, Cesaro and Montez Ford were working. Though they were working their asses off in that match. Yeah, I love the. I agree. The pop up uppercut spot was just brutal to watch. But I think Montez is one of the best sellers and one of the best aerial guys in the game right now.
I agree. He's got hops. He's doing everything right. Let's see. We get the formal breakup, not of Andrade and Angel Garza, because as much as they're fighting backstage, I feel like they're going to end up in a tag team eventually anyway. But we get the breakup of Zelina Vega from the group at the conclusion of a interesting women's championship match. Asuka versus Mickie James, Raw Women's Championship. I'm kind of mad they're pivoting to the Zelina Vega program because I definitely actually want to see Asuka versus Mickie James again. Like, it was a good match.
It was. I think toward the end, a couple wires got crossed between the two. I think there was a couple missed spots. But I think just in by and large, one of Asuka's strongest matches, she just cannot be stopped this year. She's just on another level. But Mickie James, once again, showing that she can hang. I mean, of course, we're going to talk about the ending. It was definitely weird. You know, there's no question about that. There was actually a report from John Canton, who runs her site. Did you see the report from him earlier today?
No.
Basically,
he runs her site? Wow.
Yes, he runs her site, yeah. John Canton pretty much basically said, you know, the ref stopped it because they felt as though Mickie was actually knocked out for a second in the match, and just to take precaution, they stopped the match because they looked like Mickie was legit knocked out, and that's what they called it. Mickey's not mad about it. She knew that it was a precaution. She's not upset, but in the moment, it was a little confusing. But you actually do see the ref checking on her after the match outside the ring, so it does make sense why.
Yeah. I mean, I was replaying it. I thought she had gotten injured. I thought she had dislocated her shoulder, just kind of in the way that messy roll-up happened. I thought a whole bunch of things happened. When it kind of ended, I think it was weird because it was such a good match with good momentum, and the way it ended kind of just like, it took a little bit of the air out of the actual match, but I would love to see these two face off again. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not, because Zelina Vega has made her intentions known that she wants the Raw Women's Championship. She's had a lot of patience. A lot of patience, not just on the main roster, but on NXT, because she has been exclusively with Andrade for the entire amount of her run. And yes, she has wrestled from time to time, but she has not been an active competitor in the women's division. But now it is time. What do you feel about Zelina Vega finally kind of making her intentions known? Like, yo, you getting it shaken.
It's about time. I mean,
especially... I say especially because you just moved Mandy Rose to Raw and you just split up the Iconics, so now Raw is kind of like women heavy. So it's interesting the way they actually do this.
Well, I mean, set up more challengers for Asuka is what I say. I mean, you know, I feel bad for the tag division. I don't feel bad for the breakup of Zelina and Andrade. Like, I'm completely fine with that. Let her be her own character. She even had her own music this week, which I never even knew she had her own music. But I think that give Asuka more opponents, man. And I think you're stretching this out to... I'd say eventually Shayna, Asuka, Royal Rumble, or maybe Mania. I think, you know, you're building up Shayna again. I'm glad they're keeping these two apart for as long as possible. I think you make Asuka a fighting champion. You give her as many people as you can to face her, and I think that makes her look even like this seems to be Asuka's real run. That we've wanted for so long, and it looks to be that way, and I'm all for it. I want to see her work a variety of different opponents. Obviously, Zelina works more of a lucha style, and I think that we haven't seen Asuka work that style before, so I want to see what that match looks like whenever they do it. If that's a Clash of Champions match, it's definitely one of the more interesting matchups we've ever seen Asuka have, or even on the women's side, it's always a Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, Asuka, Becky versus Lacey, whoever situation. Zelina being a new challenger immediately makes me interested in this match, so I'm all for it.
Right. Let's see. Let's get into other things that ended up on Monday Night Raw. Real kind of quick hit. I think we saw the full formation of the Hurt Business. Now 4 guys heavy. They had quite a Monday Night Raw. I mean, Cedric Alexander beats Ricochet, beats the hell out of him actually on Monday Night Raw. Bobby Lashley beats Eric, who is
he's going to need to be repackaged.
We've advocated for the solo Eric. Like, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley do that, and now. No, I was going to say, and then at the end of the day, Retribution, the Hurt Business, who decided they have had enough of Retribution kind of like investing within their matches and stuff like that, have just chosen to face Retribution. And at the end of Raw, we got Retribution versus the Hurt Business, which was interesting.
Cool.
What
a cool visual of them walking down to the ring, basically them being the guardians
for strong black men.
Yeah, like basically, and then handling them PC rejects, them dweebs from the PC. Like I thought it was a cool moment. I like the shot of Drew and Keith doing the plancha over the top. I thought it was a really cool visual of those two putting their differences aside and then getting up and saying, "Okay, we ain't done with each other yet." I love that. I love that moment at the end between these two. Again, the Hurt Business, they've made them look incredibly strong. It's time to do something with it. It's either, and I don't know if that's WWE title, and the thing is, it doesn't have to be because they look strong even without it. I honestly think that even as much as they work as heels, they look like really cool faces too. I thought they looked really cool at the end, so I'm conflicted there, but I really liked Cedric Alexander's entry into the crew here. I thought Ricochet had the best promo between all of them for the night, though. I thought he had a really good promo.
I mean, good for man.
He's working
Rick,
hard.
Man. Shout out to him.
Hard. He's working. That's your homeboy. He's working hard.
Let's see. I say this. I only note this because it's incredibly rare. Kevin Owens wins a match on Monday Night Raw.
He didn't win it clean. He didn't win it cleanly, but he won. Yeah.
No. He won a match. He beat Aleister Black. I don't know what they're doing with Aleister. We talked about it, the post Paul Heyman effect. It seemed like he was kind of pushing or kind of lost in the weeds of how they're doing Monday Night Raw, and Aleister Black looks completely lost.
Does he?
If I had to say. Yeah, he looks lost. He looks like a heel turn, but there's actually no plans for it. Like, there's no plans. There's no plans to move forward. Even with Andrade and Angel, it's clear there's no plans because there's nothing moving in a particular direction.
His direction's KO. That's not over with. The KO thing's not over with. I won't say that
the heel thing.
I won't say that he's done with KO until he's done with KO. Like he could always say that the Retribution is the reason why he lost. Like I thought that's why they did that finish was so KO could squeak a win pass because he was about to lose.
Has he had any significant promo time to explain why he's doing the things he does, why he still wears a patch on his eye, or even consider anything?
It hasn't been a month
that he's done.
It hasn't been a month. I mean, it hasn't been a month yet.
Even after a major heel turn,
Andrade and Angel has been 9 months, and we have that. I'd say you're right there, but
there. This, I mean, I can see from based on how everything is kind of plotted out, I can see that there's no major direction for Aleister Black at this point. And you could see that in his face turn, and you can see it in his heel turn, to be honest with you. Raw Underground, Braun Strowman appears. He's just got nothing to do on SmackDown. He's been Roman.
I love, so I love that Fiend. Well, Fiend is kind of hinting that he's going back to Roman on SmackDown. He did hint at that. There's a Paul Heyman puppet now.
Yeah, right.
So he has hinted that.
Yeah, but Braun Strowman is not.
Oh no, I mean,
he is 100% not.
I think we said it clear.
He looks like a dork.
I think we said it clear a couple weeks ago. It looks like Fiend Roman is the direction. Braun is still a heel, but he's just you're gone. That's that because I remember people were like, well, why did he pin Braun twice? He pinned Braun twice so that he could put Braun out the division. He's done. Braun got pinned twice. He's out. He's not in contention for that title anymore. He's firmly in the upper mid.
100%.
He's done. He got Jinder Mahal.
So now they're trying to figure out things for him to do. He's dominating Raw Underground. Has a big match against Dabba-Kato next week on Raw Underground. I'm interested in see how that goes, but I'm also interested in okay, what are the true stakes for Raw Underground, if there are any, or is it really just kind of a sideshow thing? Let's wrap up Raw with this steel cage match: Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. It is the umpteenth time we've seen these two, or a variation of these two, kind of go up against one another. But again, it didn't disappoint at all. Especially Dominic Mysterio, really still very new to the main roster and having this type of high-profile match against Seth Rollins. I got to give him all the props for this because I thought it should have been the main event of Raw.
I did too, but you can't end it.
But they just did the main event last week, yeah.
Yeah, you can't end it twice. I thought it was a good match. This has been going on since we found out Becky was pregnant back in April. I think we have far surpassed the need for this feud anymore. I know we're still going to get the blow off. Seth absolutely should lose. Buddy should help him. He should help him lose. I think Buddy should get his comeuppance. I would just love for this storyline to end and everyone to go their separate ways. I know Seth's probably going to go on to something else. Either he's going to take some time off, or he's going to go to a new feud. I'm ready for him to do something else. I don't know if there's too many faces on the brand that he could face right now, though. I think that this is probably going to be. I can see an extended break for him if Ray wins his last match. Yeah, I see Ray coming. Not this pay-per-view, obviously, but Hell in a Cell. Just have that main event Hell in a Cell, Seth versus Ray. Let it end the whole thing. If you're going to do 2 Hell in a Cell matches. Oh man, if you're gonna do 2, they probably have to do 3, huh? 2 or 3.
I would hope they wouldn't do 3. I would hope they would.
What Hell in a Cell matches? I know we're looking past Clash of Champions. What would you do? Would you do Ray Seth, Bailey Sasha, or Drew Randy Keith in the cell? I don't think those 3 need the cell if they're gonna do an ambulance match.
I would think Drew Randy. Here's the thing with, I hope not. I hope we're not getting closer to actually them taking the belt off Drew.
Unless it's Keith.
But I think, yeah, I could see that. I'm not sure of the Hell in a Cell matches that we're going to get. I don't think it's going to be Bailey versus Sasha. I just don't right now. I think that feud could end at TLC or something. But I do think the Drew, Randy, Keith program will get the Hell in a Cell match. I do think Ray versus Seth has earned that, but it needs to be done. It's earned it by virtue of it continuing.
Yeah.
It's still going on, and I don't know how it's still going on.
It needs a blow off.
But it just needs to end.
Yeah, it needs a blow off.
It needs to end. And Hell in a Cell is just an amount of time away that Ray can recover and be ready to actually go for that amount of time. But yeah, it was a good Raw. It was a good Raw. It was Raw in your face.
If I see a Ray promo next week where Ray addresses the WWE Universe, I'm gonna toss my fucking phone. Because I can't take it anymore. But yeah, good Raw. Overall, good week in WWE. I can't complain. I thought all the shows, including the NXT Super Tuesday, were really solid shows. Shout out to Finn Balor for winning the NXT title again. My man, finally back in the winner's circle, baby. We here. But until next week, Meelz just rolled his eyes like so hard just now, and I know he did. Until next week, please subscribe to the A Show channel and leave us a like, leave us some comments, let us know what you're thinking. Next week, we have another stacked week of Raw and SmackDown. We're going to be getting closer to the Clash of Champions. We're going to find out what Sasha feels on Friday's SmackDown, and we're going to find out, is Roman going to snap on Jay? We need to see it. We love to see it. But until then, thank you guys for listening. Please check out the Rewriters Room this Thursday, Spot Callers this Friday, and a G Show preview this weekend as well. So until then, for Meelz, I am Justin. Please wash your hands and wear your damn masks. See you later.
Happy Miro Day.